Honorable viewers, I welcome all of you to my YouTube channel, Department of English. Today I would like to share with you the Neoclassical period 1660 to 1785. So let's get started. The age is called Neoclassical or Pseudo-classical age to mean the artificially of the writers of this age. They imitated the ancient Greek and Roman literary tradition but lacked the originality of the writers of that period. Main literary features of this age. The writers of this age imitated the style of the ancient Greek and Roman writers. Much attention is paid to technical perfection rather than innovation or natural genius. Human beings are given most importance. The literary ideal of the age is art for man's sake, not art for art's sake. General rather than the individual qualities of human beings are given more importance. Sophistication in thought and style is emphasized. The new classical age comprises three shorter ages: the Restoration period, the Augustan age, and the Age of Sensibility. Now, let's discuss the Restoration period 1660 to 1700. This period is called the Restoration period because in this period, with the restoration of monarchy, the English literary tradition was restored. In the Commonwealth period, Charles II, the son of Charles I, escaped to France. After the death of Richard Cromwell, the people of England brought him back and made him King of England on May 29, 1660. He remained in power till his death in 1685 when James II, another son of Charles I, ascended the throne. He was a Catholic, and most of the people who were Protestants wanted to dethrone him. In 1688, there was the Glorious Revolution, that means bloodless revolution against him. He fled to France. William III of France, the husband of Mary, the daughter of James II, came to power. William ruled England till his death in 1702. The important facts which influenced the literature of this period are: a general reaction against puritanical restraints became very strong. Two political parties, the Whig and the Tory, were formed. The Whigs were against the king and for the Protestants. The Tories supported the king and the Catholics. In 1690, there was Jacobite rising. The Catholics of Ireland, who were led by James II, fought against William's soldiers and were defeated. In 1662, the Royal Society was founded to promote scientific research. Sir Isaac Newton was a member of it. In 1695, the press was made free. Everyone was given liberty to express his or her views. The Bill of Rights was adopted in 1689. It curtailed the monarch's power and increased Parliament's power. Major writers of the period and their major works. John Milton, 1608 to 74, he started writing in the previous age, wrote his great epics in this period. He remained almost unaffected by the looseness of the Restoration period. Paradise Lost, the great epic in English. Paradise Resigned, Samson Agonistes, Samuel Butler, 1612 to 80, Hadivers, a certain verse, John Bunyan, The Pilgrim's Progress, the famous allegory in prose, John Dryden, Wall for Love, the Indian Emperor, Arens, Jiba, Absalom and Achitophel, Mike Felogno, the essay of dramatic poesy, John Locke, an essay concerning human understanding, William Wycherley, The Country Wife, The Plain Dealer, Afrabin, The Rover, a restoration comedy, or Noko, a prose fiction. William Congreve, 1670 to 1729, The Double Dealer, Love for Love, The Way of the World. George Parker, The Recruiting Officer, The Vexes Stregem. Main literary features of the age. Imitation of ancient Greek and Roman writers gives rise to neoclassicism. Puritan controls illusion and a wave of poverty and vulgarity sweeps the creative. Great English epics are written with proper elegance and grandeur. Drama returns with the then French licentiousness and gaiety. It loses Elizabethan seriousness and splendor. Comedy of manners and heroic tragedy became major dramatic genres. Translation of great classical texts starts appearing. Satirical verse becomes popular. Literature of two extremes coexist. Great epics like Paradise Lost and the moral wisdom like the Pilgrim's Progress are written. At the same time, sensual comedies like the Country of are also written. The Augustan age, 1702 to 1749. This age is called Augustan age because the writers of this period imitate the style and elegance of the writers who ruled in Italy during the reign of the Emperor Augustus, 27 BC to 14 AD. This span of time is called it is also called the Age of Pope because Alexander Pope was the best known poet of the time. During these years, England was ruled by Queen Anne, 1702 to 14, George I, that is on 1714 to 27, and George II, 1727 to 16. The important facts which influenced the literature of this period are: Scotland was annexed to England, Jacobite rising Jacobite rising continued. The first cabinet of England was formed. The first English daily newspaper, the Daily Current, appeared in London in 1702. The number of coffee houses, pubs, and clubs was multiplied, and people learned the habit of living together. A number of literary associations started. Of them, the most famous was the Scribblers' Club. The members of this club were Alexander Pope, John Gay, John Arbuthnot or not, Jonathan Swift, and Thomas Parnell. The other clubs of this period were Kit Kat Club and the Spectators Club. Major writers of the period and their major works: Daniel Defoe, Robinson Crusoe, Jonathan Swift, The Battle of the Books, A Tale of a Tab, Gulliver's Travels, Joseph Addison and Sir Richard Steele, The Tetlow and The Spectator. Addison wrote 274 out of total 555 essays published in them and still wrote the rest. Alexander Pope, The Rave of the Lock, then said, Epistle to Dr. Sorry, what's the name? Arbuthnot, an essay on criticism. Samuel Richardson, Pamela Warburton rewarded, the first English novel. Henry Fielding, Joseph Andrews. Main literary features of the age. New classical spirit continues. Poetry becomes a visual as well as a verbal art, following Herx's theory as in painting. So in poetry, fixture of voices. Price's formula and elegant become the standard style of writing. Moderation, realism, and rationalism become the main principles of creative works. The regular pentameter couplet and blank verse are devoted to the best possible perfection. Lyric poetry loses dominance. Satirical verse continues. Satirical prose appears. It blends fact and fiction in new forms such as biographies, travelogues, political allegories, and romantic tales. Novels and journalism begin. Translation of great classical texts continues. Wit or inventiveness and aptness of descriptive images or metaphors become major literary devices. Literature mirrors political awareness. And finally, urban culture overpowers literature. The Age of Sensibility, 1745 to 85. The age is called the Age of Sensibility because reason, sensibility, views, and original genius controlled the literature of the time. It is also called the Age of Johnson after the name of Dr. Samuel Johnson, who dominated this period. This age started after Pope's death and ended with the first edition of lyrical ballads in 1798. The important facts which influenced the literature of this period are James Watt invented steam engine in 1769. In 1733, John Key invented the flying shuttle. In 1764, Hargreaves invented the spinning jenny. All this contributed to the Industrial Revolution. Number two, industrial towns appeared. There was a revolution in agricultural production. The British founded its empire in India in 1757 and lost its American colony in 1776. French Revolution started in 1789 and continued till 1799. Voltaire 1694 to 1778 and Jean Jacques Rousseau 1712 to 1778 taught individualism and inspired revolution for more freedom and equality. During the reign of Louis XVR of France, whose wife was Marie Antoinette, there were several social inequalities among the people. The king and the nobility were enjoying all the good things of the country, and the common people were deprived of their due shares. The law of the country was not equal for all classes of people. The existing social injustices prompted the Great Revolution known as the French Revolution in 1789. The slogan of the revolution was liberty, equality, and fraternity. The king, along with his queen, was overthrown by the common people. This revolution had tremendous effect on the life and literature of the people of England. In 1764, Dr. Johnson founded his famous literary club known as Johnson Literary Club. Its members were Burke, Pitt, Fox, Gibbon, Goldsmith, and a few other great persons of the time. The development of industry and commerce, the rise of political parties, and democracy created problems and a change in the social infrastructure ensued. A literate middle class grew and the reins of reading public widened. Major writers of the period and their major works. Samuel Richardson, 1689 to 1761. He had restarted writing novels in the previous age and wrote the following novels in this age. Clarissa Harlowe, Sir Charles Grandison. Henry Fielding, 1707 to 54. He had started writing novels in the previous age and wrote the following novels in this age: Tom Jones, Amelia. Dr. Samuel Johnson, 1709 to 84. Dictionary, the history of Rasselas, Prince of Abyssinia, preface to Shakespeare, the lives of the most eminent English poets. Thomas Gray, Elize, written in a country churchyard. Oliver Goldsmith, The Citizen of the World, The Vicar of the Wakefield. Edmund Burke, One American Texan, Speech on Conciliation with America, Speech on Mr. Fox's East India Bill. Edward Gibbon, The Decline and Fall of the Roman Empire. Main literary features of the age. The restoration spirit dies away. The age marks a gradual changes poetic taste and techniques. The heroic couplet and blank verse declined, and the ballad and ironic review. Benderic ode appears. Intellectual prose writings flourished. The novel takes a definite shape and rises to dominate the literary scene. Poetry shifts its focus from intensely social issues to melancholy, isolation, and reflection. Features of romanticism that flourishes in the next age come into view. Literary criticism finds a solid ground. So that's all about today's topic. For the time being, thanks for your patience sharing. Bye bye.